In today's video, we're going to be talking about the fact that Justin Gaethje has confirmed that he will literally retire. Ali Abdelaziz has confirmed he will literally fucking retire if he doesn't get a title shot. We're going to talk about Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. We're going to talk about JDM versus Makhachev. And most importantly, we're going to talk about Islam Poirier's midlife crisis, as he is literally going through one of the worst stages a fighter can go through at the best possible time for his career. But I want to start with Justin Gaethje. So obviously this post is from a little bit ago, but Ali Abdelaziz has come out and said that if Justin Gaethje is not next for the title, that he will literally be retiring from the sport. And, you know, I'm a huge Gaethje fan. My honest opinion and reaction on this is, let him go. Get him out of the sport. Get Justin Gaethje out of the sport. Paddy Pimblett deserves the title shot more than Justin Gaethje. And it's gone to a bit of a fucking disgrace at this stage that this guy can just spam the unlimited title shot glitch exactly like Cyril Gane has been doing the last couple of years. They win one fight and they expect a fucking title shot. And I'm just sick of people not earning title shots. Listen, Paddy Pimblett doesn't exactly deserve it either. Let's be honest with you. But he got a fucking title shot against Charles Oliveira in a similar circumstance, beating Michael Chandler, although Pimblett did it way fucking better. And you look at the landscape of the division, we have this fight coming up in 2 weeks, which I will literally fucking be at, which is insane. Makhachev has moved up. I don't think Islam Poirier is looking to wait around either, if I'm being honest with you. I think this dude wants to kill somebody in January. That's what I'm thinking. So for Justin Gaethje to sit there and say, I'm going to retire if I'm not next for the belt, my honest thoughts on that is, I'll show you where the door is. Because this fucking mentality is exactly what ruins the fucking UFC. You haven't earned shit. You haven't earned shit. And he said on a podcast as well a few months ago, they owe me a title fight. They don't fucking owe you anything. Dana White literally came out and said when Tom Aspinall was a defending champion that he didn't deserve anything either. So what the fuck makes you think you deserve absolutely anything from the UFC? You got fucking slept by Max Holloway a year and a half ago, and you beat a short notice Rafael Fiziev. Now before, excuse me, Gaethje was on a bit of a tear. You know, he just beaten Fiziev in London. He just knocked out Dustin Poirier, and if he had got the win against Max Holloway, he would have been undeniable. No one would have been complaining about that. Nobody's saying you wouldn't have deserved it then. Nobody's saying you deserve it now. And listen, Paddy, you know, fucking Paddy, lad. You know, fuck me, lad. I'll fight anybody, lad. You know I'm Shane, man. Fucking Gaethje, I hope he gets starched, lad. He literally doesn't deserve it either. But it's kind of like, so the way I look at it is, Arman was the number one contender. You couldn't really jump Arman, but I feel like Tsarukyan played the card and they were like, no, fuck off. That's why he's fighting Dan Hooker. So obviously, but then again, if Tsarukyan can get an early finish here against Hooker, maybe like the first round or something like that, maybe, just maybe, he might say, fuck it. If it's late January, it might take like 3 weeks off and get back into like a 5-week training camp or something like that. It is kind of tight, but I would love to see Arman get the next title shot, because that's the fight that makes sense. Nobody's trying to see Justin Gaethje get slept by Islam Poirier in the first round. The first exchange, I would actually say, and especially not when it looks like this. I would turn full heel if I lost a girl like that too. Full heel. And if you look at Makhachev, 170. He's not looking to come back down to 155 anytime soon. Ever again, if I'm being honest with you. That fight's in like a week and a half. I cannot wait for this fight. But Islam Makhachev plays a huge part in this whole thing. Because he didn't beat the champ to get the belt. He's about to beat the champ to get the belt at another weight class. The whole Makhachev versus Ilya thing is extremely interesting because it's one of the biggest fights ever. Ever. And I feel like if Ilya beats a Gaethje, it does nothing for his career. Nothing for his career as regards like a hardcore kind of fan base. Like nobody's looking at Islam Poirier saying that Justin Gaethje is an insane win on your resume. It's just fucking not. We know Gaethje's not that good. He's an elite level lightweight compared to like maybe a Dan Hooker, who Arman Tsarukyan's gonna fucking butcher inside 2 rounds and finish him and make it look easy. Hooker, I have no faith in Dan Hooker. Yes, Dan Hooker has range. Yes, Dan Hooker has decent boxing. But Tsarukyan's grappling is going to be way too much, way too quick for Dan Hooker, in my opinion, in this fight. I don't think Hooker is gonna get a sniff. When Hooker fought Gamrot, yeah, it was close and stuff like that, damage and things like that. But this isn't, and I know Mateusz Gamrot beat Arman Tsarukyan, but Tsarukyan's way better at controlling people. The scrambles in Mateusz Gamrot versus Arman Tsarukyan, which were insane. I will actually be at this, like I said, which is it's fucking insane. But Arman Tsarukyan's got way better control time. You know what I mean? Gamrot's a little bit like Merab, where he's going to shoot a load of takedowns. And that opens up for Hooker on the feet because he knows he doesn't necessarily have to worry too much about getting controlled. Now, I rewatched that fight the other day. Hooker was definitely landing that range. And teeps to the body are going to be extremely important for Hooker in this fight. Tsarukyan's got okay striking. But I always say, if you can hold Charles Oliveira down. Now, he did get in bad spots against Oliveira. If there was like 20 more seconds in the second round, Arman over here would have been in a bit of a state. But, you know, a lot of people were picking Arman to beat, you know, Makhachev. A lot of fucking people were saying Arman could beat him. I wasn't one of those guys because I understand that if you have to beat Makhachev, you kind of need to finish him, in my opinion. Unless you're JDM, which is like just a complete package to beat Makhachev, if I'm being honest with you. I feel like Ilya, I think JDM has a better chance of out-decisioning and outclassing Makhachev than Ilya. I think Ilya's best chance at beating Makhachev is just knocking him out. I feel like Makhachev would probably just be too much for Ilya, too big. I feel like he'd have a little bit too much in the grappling as well. Like I know a lot of people might get annoyed at me saying that, but I have to see more of Ilya. Like I'm looking at the Bryce Mitchell fight, you got him on your back. I'm looking at the Jai Herbert nearly knocking you out on short notice. I'm looking at these, you couldn't even finish Josh Emmett. I'm looking at this. Falk was actually beating you in the fight as well. Ilya's style is to fucking KO you. That's Ilya's style, and I feel like that's the perfect thing you need to beat Makhachev, 100%. But I feel like JDM's quick boxing, even though he doesn't necessarily have the power, is exactly what you need to beat Makhachev, mixed in with that elite takedown defense. I'm not trying to see you get taken down by Bryce Mitchell. I know that was a long, long time ago, and featherweights are a little bit more skillful than lightweights in certain areas, but I just feel like Max Holloway was doing incredibly well. I feel like to beat Makhachev, I feel like you just need to have the astonishing power like Ilya, or the hold-up takedown defense with crispy striking like Jack Della Maddalena. Arman didn't have that. That would have been an extremely close fight where Islam probably would have been able to do a little bit more with the grappling and then implement the boxing a little bit more and would have won that way. But it was a close fight. Like, it would have been like a 48-47. Some people say, oh, Arman won the third, but we all know Islam won the third. That kind of a fight. But for Gaethje over here, I haven't seen a single thing in the last year, if I'm being honest with you, 2 years, since you beat Dustin Poirier, was that 2.5 years ago, to say that you warrantly deserve a title shot. You getting slapped by Max Holloway, bad, after getting slapped up for 5 rounds, 4 rounds I should say. It was kind of like there was 1 second, so you could say 5 rounds. I'm not trying to say that you deserve anything after losing to Holloway in that way. Whereas Arman, if he beats Dan Hooker, absolutely, and unless it's like an absolute robbery, and no one. But the thing is, no matter how Arman wins, he's gonna get a title shot. And I feel like for Pimblett, he's kind of like in a really good state of, let's say this is a close enough fight and Arman takes a bit of damage. Maybe he gets injured. Maybe he doesn't. I feel like Pimblett deserves it over Gaethje. I'm not saying Pimblett deserves it, because Paddy Pimblett does not deserve to fight Ilya Poirier at the moment. He just doesn't. He just doesn't. But the problem I have with Ilya as champ, it's the same thing a lot of fighters, apart from like Merab, do. It's just you're so inactive. You took no damage against Oliveira and you moved up a weight class. What's the hold up? And Ilya's notorious at this. 2.5 years ago, he fought Josh Emmett and beat the shit out of him. He said he'd wait for his title shot. He's no problem waiting around. And he got a title shot of beating Josh Emmett, who was coming off a loss after getting finished by Yair Rodriguez. I just want to make that clear. That Ilya Poirier got a title shot of beating Josh Emmett, who lost, got finished by Yair Rodriguez in Australia. I think it was like UFC 284, whatever the fuck that card was. Islam versus Volk, co-main event. He didn't necessarily deserve a title shot either, but he got perfect timing. There was no one else in the division, and you couldn't have gave it to Max Holloway again. Justin Gaethje is not in that position. Paddy Pimblett is probably in that position. It's a similar win. Michael Chandler is a similar win to Josh Emmett in that division. And he beat Bobby Green. And the fact we have to go that low to get contenders to fight for the belt is insane. This is the only guy I can actually sit here and say who's doing something about it. These two. And Dan Hooker will fight fucking anybody. He'll fight fucking anybody, bro. And I just think the lightweight division, I don't know. See, Arman I respected. I loved Arman. You know, he fought like Mateus Gamrot. He fought like Joel Alvarez and stuff like that. Like, Arman's resume is fucking sick. You know, he beat Oliveira. Then he fought Makhachev. Oh, you didn't actually fight Makhachev. You were scheduled to fight Makhachev. I didn't necessarily think sitting out and waiting for an Ilya just to pick you was the best way to go about it. I just didn't. I just didn't. And now he's saying my problem was I wanted to take people with me to the top who didn't even want to see me at the top. God only knows. So the Nelk boys did a clip of like, you can't find your wife in Miami. And that's probably aged like fine wine, if I'm being honest with you. I don't really know what happened here. To be honest, bro's a teenage girl. I don't really know what happened here. I'll be honest with you. I actually don't give a fuck. I'm sure he's fine. You know, he's got two good reasons right there. 1 belt, 2 belts to be perfectly happy. And I feel like the way the lightweight division is, you don't deserve a title shot. Do you give Dan Hooker a title shot if he beats Mateus or Arman Tsarukyan? You kind of have to. You kind of have to beat him. That's why I'm going to make a video about it maybe this week, really going into this fight. Arman Tsarukyan actually holds the key to this whole thing. He holds the key to it all. If you lose to Dan Hooker, the division is ruined. The division is ruined. But luckily, I think Tsarukyan's going to go in there and fucking butcher Dan Hooker inside 2 rounds. I just think he's going to make it look easy. I don't necessarily think Dan Hooker's stylistically a hard fight for Arman, to where Arman's really got to work the jab and get in to set up his takedowns up against the cage. I think he can get a takedown in the middle of the octagon. And I feel like Arman's ground and pound is some of the best in the UFC. Go back and watch that Joel Alvarez fight. He was landing some vicious elbows in Charles Oliveira as well, by the way. Really, really good performance. I watched that a few days ago. And I feel like Tsarukyan's the number 1 contender. I feel like Tsarukyan would absolutely fucking dismantle Justin Gaethje. I think Arman would do bad things to Paddy Pimblett. And I definitely think Arman can definitely show us a new look on the Ilya fight. I always said I need to see him versus him before I see him versus him. It makes more sense to me. It makes more sense if you breeze through an Arman Tsarukyan. Let's say Arman throws 4 solid double legs. And Ilya just stuffs them like they're nothing. Just 4 as an example. I know 4 is a lot. 4 is, you know, quite a lot of takedowns. And then he just fucking slaps him. You know, they get into like a boxing exchange. Ilya uppercut. Bang. Ilya Totoro. Ba, 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 ba. Let's say he just absolutely smashes Arman Tsarukyan. Then I'm like, oh shit, he actually might be in Islam. I don't want that. I don't want to see Islam lose. Islam's probably my favorite. See, Leonardo is my favorite fighter ever. Okay, just fucking yeah. Some dude actually commented saying he'd unsubscribed the second he heard that. That is vile shit, man. That is vile shit. But I feel like Islam is probably my like most rooted for fighter. Like, I want to see Islam be the GOAT, and I want to see JDM lose that fucking belt, right? You know what I mean? Monsieur, that's his fucking son. Yo, Ilya, good guy, but me, this easy money, brother. Kangaroo have good striking, but I submit Kangaroo for sure. And, you know, Dean Hooker, he's fucking want to fight everyone. He's fucking in Qatar. He's in London. He can give a fuck. So he wants to fight fucking everyone. And listen, they owe me they came to my house and begged me to fight Max Holloway. I'm doing one in my last 4. I'm not going to fight for fun anymore. You're 3-1. It's funny that 1 there and that 3. So one of those fights was, 2 of those wins are Rafael Fiziev. 2 of those wins. 2 of those wins are Rafael Fiziev. And the other one is Dustin Poirier, who's retired. So you've got 1 win against, in those 3, you've got 1 win against an active fighter. Okay? And one of them was on short notice and he was coming off an injury. And then the other one, you got fucking schooled and slept. Are we really doing this? Is that how is that the best we can do to give Ilya? Is that the best we can do? I would not even mind waiting out and seeing if Arman does a fucking job on Hooker like the way I think he's going to do. I wouldn't necessarily be mad in seeing Arman just wait. Let's say we go for February. Let's say we go for March. Beginning of March. Get this. There's always a good card in March. I don't know why they always stack March. But March is always a good fucking card. And I want to see it, bro. I want to see it. I love the UFC is good. I cannot wait to go to this fight. It's going to be generational, boys. It's going to be generational. But road to 1K has begun, boys. Let me know what you think about all this down below. And thanks for watching.